and also relaxing. Denise Laurel. Did Laurel call in?
Yes.
Who did you say? Ashland and nothing.
Anyone ready?
That's another.
We're ready to go whenever you are.
Okay, welcome to the Regional School District 13 Board of Education meeting, Building Committee, December 17th, 2025 at 5 p.m. It is now 5:04. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we're going to do a roll call. Everybody state your name and your affiliation. Howard Weisberg, Building Committee. Rusty Malik, QAM.
Carson Collier, QAM.
Marty Winston, STV.
Dave Cravenzola, ONG Industries.
Mark Sedensky, ONG Industries.
Charles Dallas. Eric Bryant, Facilities.
Greg Putman, Building Committee.
Jamie Rohrbeck, Board of Ed.
Big Director of Finance.
Lucy Petrella, Board of Ed.
Sydney Leggett, Superintendent.
Bob Ward, Board of Ed.
Christine Cowan, Board of Ed.
Mark Simmons, Board of Ed.
Aaron Overton, Building Committee. John Cross, Building Committee.
John G. Mateo, Building Committee.
Okay, and we have a couple members of the public, one member of the public.
Kevin Boyle, ONG.
Fantastic, thank you, Kevin.
And there's a few people online.
Okay,
Laurel, do you want to do a quick introduction?
Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, Laurel Purcell, ONG. I don't know if everybody remembers me. I was less tan a long time ago and highly stressed. And I went on a trip and I'm back, pre-construction manager for ONG, and I will be basically, unless Dave wants to talk about it, coming back to be your pre-construction manager to see you through the project.
back, Laurel.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Laurel.
And then we have an Emma and a Russ online. I'm not sure if either of those people are on the building committee or should be brought in as a panelist.
No.
No. Okay. Got it. Thank you. We're all good.
Okay, item number 2 is public comment. We do have members of the public online, and we offer this opportunity for them to raise any concerns if they have any at this point.
Anyone online, if you just raise your hand for public comment.
Okay, no public comment. Item number 3, approval of agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion approved agenda.
Second.
Any, okay, we have a second to approve. Any discussion? All in favor? Yeah. Okay, approval of minutes, December 3rd, 2025 and December 8th, 2025. Can I have a motion on the floor?
Motion approved, meeting minutes December 3rd and 8th, 2025.
Second. Okay, we have a second to approve the minutes, December 3rd, 2025, December 8th, 2025. Any discussion? And all in favor, signify yes.
I'll abstain.
You have an abstention.
Okay. Okay, motion passes. Item 5, memorial renovation expansion, project update. We'll start with, why don't we start with ONG?
I think, quick one is the PCOs for, can we do that, or do you want to do the actual update first on the project? You want to stick with?
Yeah, we'll start with the project update first.
Mark, go ahead.
Okay, so recently, we've had a plan completion review, which is the PCR, with the state of Connecticut. That was for the demolition and abatement, which is phase 2 of the project. It was held, I believe it was last week. We did receive approval this week to go out to bid with the phase 2. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll finalize bidding documents, and with subcommittee approval, we'll be ready to go out to bid for that phase. Recently, Carson, was it Friday? We received updated CD documents.
So, the third-party code review documentation set was sent out on December tenth, so the Friday of December tenth. So that documentation set is probably what's in circulation with the group. Kim has, access to that. So if anyone would like to see that, that's a progress set, but that it is in the hands of the third party. AHJ is kind of reviewing the documentation set, at this point. We are slated to have, sorry, it's kind of an overlap a little bit with design and with ONG. We do have our 100% CD documentation set slated to be completed this Friday. So we will have kind of a more detailed buttoned up set, to kind of go out there to complement any sort of estimating sets that are ongoing.
But we just did, ONG just did receive from QA&M, we received 90% CD documents, which we are performing an estimate on. We'll be ready, I believe it's January 9th, to have our estimate completed. At that time, we'll do a reconciliation with QA&M, who I believe is also doing an independent estimate. We'll stay on budget, hit the budget, and keep moving forward with the project.
Okay. We'll turn it over to Rusty. Carson, do you want to give an update on anything else that wasn't covered?
Sure, that covers the overall kind of general project timeline that we've seen to date. I do want to kind of project a little bit farther in the future, looking into 2026 a little bit, with the holidays coming up. So from our overall proposed schedule that we have, so January 12th, 2026, we are slated to kind of have our third-party AHJ code review comments received to the design team so we can start working through those. So that's kind of the proposed timeline that we have identified with the third-party reviewers that have been engaged either by the town or through the committee here at this point in the district. So that's what we're targeting at this point. It gives us about a week and a half in order to kind of respond to any of those comments, get through the final approvals there prior to a state PCR. Mark also did talk about kind of the estimate side of the phase 3 documentation and kind of the review and reconciliation between our consultant's estimate as well as the ONG estimate. We are kind of still fine tuning those exact dates. We'll keep the committee abreast of the established time frames and when those meetings occur. If any of you guys want to be a part of those at that point, but we will have a larger full board discussion about where we end up with those. We'll be talking about any sort of value management, alternate items that we need to fine tune prior to that state PCR going out to bid. So that will all be part of our discussions in the upcoming year at that point. I will say, just looking ahead at the overall schedule that you have outlined online for these meetings, it's looking like we're most likely going to need to have some sort of either subcommittee discussion or a building committee discussion the week of the 13th. So it's kind of either the 7th, 13th, and 21st, just to get to our PCR review, which is on the 22nd. So just putting that on the radar, it may be good to either add one, and if we need to cancel one of them, we can kind of decide that. But I would anticipate a meeting that week would most likely be needed at that point.
Or every other week, so
Yeah.
we can move one up or back if necessary.
We do need a lot of time because we have a board meeting on the 12th.
Well,
Yeah, so that week I anticipate will be more of budget related kind of discussions where the estimates come in after our reconciliation, because that week is when the ONG and ourselves will be kind of working on that reconciliation effort. And then the following week after that is where we're looking for a similar approval like we had recently for the phase 2 documentation, which would be a joint Board of Ed and building committee approval. So that we'd anticipate for the 21st, which is that Wednesday. That way we can roll into the state PCR on the 22nd, which is currently scheduled at that point.
Sorry, just to clarify, the board meeting is the 14th.
Oh,
Okay.
is that appropriate time for that or not? Still need one on the 21st and 20th.
So that's the Board of Ed meeting, correct?
The 14th is Board of
14th
Ed.
is
We have a
Board of Ed.
building committee meeting scheduled on the 21st.
I think it would be the building committee if we wanted to discuss any sort of estimates before we go to the Board of Ed that week. So again, it doesn't have to be on that night. Could be a remote meeting, could be just a touch base kind of later in that week. If there's something that makes sense for kind of the group, I throw it out there just as an early conversation starter, not to throw too much at you guys last minute before signatures or anything like that. So just putting that out into the atmosphere for forward thinking at that point.
I think the closer to the PCR, which is on the 22nd, the better off we are. So, you know, we want to make sure we reconcile everything and we show up with everything in place.
Right.
So there's not a second meeting necessary.
We'll plan something else. We'll send out a poll and see what day works best
Yep.
for, what we can make.
Um,
We'll just make it special. It sounds like it makes more sense to make it a special meeting.
Right.
Take the 21st, move it up and make it a special meeting.
Other topics, other than that, I mean, I know there was some email correspondence just about EV charging stations. We have a base of design kind of listed. We do have 2 EV charging stations required by planning and zoning, that we are providing as part of the project. I ran a base of design product past Eric. Sounds like throughout the district, you don't have any currently, so this would be a starting point. So those items typically have service contracts, kind of agreements, things like that. So I want to just make sure that it gets some consideration as we move into the final level of documentation, if there's a different manufacturer or anything like that. So I don't need an answer this second. And I'm happy to pass along that information to any board members that have any questions there. One component of that we've seen with multiple communities is how you want to meter those. Are they going to be free services? Are you going to be pay for the service? We're providing infrastructure and everything like that for card readers to be added in the future. But sometimes districts or communities paying for a service on property it's one of those questions I ask, just from a district standpoint, if there are any policies in place that need to be adhered to. So.
I know in my previous district, we had, our electric bill skyrocketed because people were coming in and charging their cars overnight, and it did start to actually cost a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
DOT has, eliminated the free charging.
Okay.
In other places, we'll give you X amount of hours. And then the cost is significant.
Right.
My recommendation would be to find a vendor that has other facilities nearby. Maybe check with Wesleyan. I know Middletown was looking to check with Wesleyan. Because getting a vendor that doesn't have anything else nearby it makes it uncomfortable for people to use. If they're familiar with using something nearby, they're in the same ecosystem, but it also makes maintenance a whole lot easier.
Okay.
I've put a bunch at the various different healthcare sites that I've built over through the years, and what's good, we've used ChargePoint, which is in Middletown. As someone who has an electric vehicle, I do not love the ones at Wesleyan. Just as a side note, it's very difficult to manage. Maybe I feel like an old lady, like I can never connect it. But in the contracts that I've negotiated, you can negotiate the rates at certain times too. So obviously the electric company charges you a higher rate during peak times. And so then your rate can be different at certain times as well. So we should look at that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're specifying the equipment for the required spaces, based off the zoning regulations at that point, with infrastructure for more to be added in the future, if ever desired at that point. So the infrastructure will be there, but we're not going to be expanding panels or anything like that. We'll provide locations for them within the facility so that if ever you needed to expand, you have room to do so. That's going to be kind of our approach and consideration for those items there. But I did want to just bring that up with the group here, the topic of discussion, because there are a couple nuances with that particular system at the facility.
Yeah, so I don't think we want to give away the charging for free. And Kim, correct me if I'm wrong, but I doubt you want to do the accounting to have those internal charges go through the district.
No, credit card,
Yeah.
have to pay.
Yeah.
Right.
You get an account,
Yeah, so we include card readers right now. That's what we have specified. So it's essentially what you're claiming there at that point. Again, just making sure that the system is something that is acceptable to the district essentially at that point. So I'm happy to send the information or pass that
Yeah,
along.
it's
If
usually
anyone
like a
has
tap to
questions.
pay. And actually, the ones that I've used at those sites, they do give you a pretty good portal, and you can report on it by terminal or whatever they call it, site and whatnot. So you'll have all of it.
I think because it's a school, we have to be able to limit, charging during the day. Unless it's staff. I mean, we want everybody coming around.
Well,
Yeah, I've had them at my different schools. Definitely probably better off having employee card readers. Because it comes across now, these two stations will not be reimbursable. Or because they're required under zoning, are they gonna be reimbursable or not?
But there's a state policy on a minimum number of EV stations.
I believe
they are.
there is, but that's for new construction, so we don't have to follow that with the renovated new, but it's local P and Z that's kind of dictating that. From what
I would
we-
take the attitude that it is reimbursable.
Yeah.
And let them
Let them
challenge.
tell us no. Yeah.
And if we have to have the parking lot lights go off at a certain time at night, aren't we shutting off the chargers as well?
Yeah, overnight. Too. That's kind of a safety thing too.
Yeah, I think you do it for school hours. I mean, I think if Middlefield, from the town standpoint, the zoning wants these things, then, you know, maybe they pay after school hours or whatever.
We're not billing teachers gas cars, so I think if you're filling your car and you're working, it should be charged around the clock, would be my opinion.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I don't disagree. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that what Eric's saying, I think, is he doesn't want
People are
during
already
school
charging,
hours,
right.
John to public, taking the charging station where a teacher could potentially pay to
Right.
use it. So anyway, I think that's more of a Board of Ed decision than a building committee.
It's a later decision, as long as you provide that stuff.
What else do we have?
Big why.
So those are the couple pressing items for at least Q and M side. I'm not sure, ONG, if you have anything else from an update standpoint?
Well, I do want to just, Laurel mentioned it quickly, but, you know, if you remember when we started the project, Laurel was our pre-construction manager. She took a believe that, as she said, she's happy to tell everyone about how she spent 6 months traveling the country. She is back, based on the way things have pushed a little bit and some things that it's running up against with Mark. We thought the best decision was from a bandwidth standpoint and Laurel's familiarity with getting the phase one swing space ready for bid, that it was best for Laurel because she could dedicate far more time than the overlap with Mark now. So they're going to be transitioning here in short order, but Laurel will be the one, she'll be the face back, getting us all the way through writing all the contracts. So she couldn't be here tonight in person, but she's already getting involved. So
Thank you, Mark.
No, Laurel's already been involved and certainly assisted with the phase two bidding, so.
Question for you, Carson and Rusty. Obviously, you know, design has been matured a lot over the past couple of months. Updated graphics, the website, posting where we are. When do we think we're gonna be at a point where we can get the visuals out for the public? Progress, you know, letting everybody track where we are progress wise, things like that. What are we thinking in terms of that?
I think with one of the meetings we mentioned February.
Okay, great.
Early mid-February,
Perfect.
because then we'll be done with the PCRs and we can focus on it and then the changes can be incorporated in it.
Excellent. I think that'll be fantastic.
Howie, I don't know, in the update, you talked about wanting to have an update a little bit about the testing room court areas. Are you
Yes.
good with that?
Yeah, just some clarification. Obviously, there's testing that's gonna happen in the pickleball courts. I know Darren had some discussion as well.
It's happened.
Has it happened?
As of last Friday, so it happened. We do have the coring and boring samples that were requested, which frankly, they provided very useful information to discover what's going on under there. Ledge is a little bit higher than where it was expected underneath there. So it's forced our team to kind of pivot and adjust some of the systems to address the planning and zoning engineers kind of comments.
Restoration has happened already or will be happening?
Correct, yeah. So fencing is kind of resecured in that area and nothing was cored in the pickleball court locations. It's all kind of at perimeter locations as best we could to not disturb what's there currently. So
If it's warm enough or not absolutely cold, they're gonna be out there and just want to make sure that there's no liability issues.
With shovels and everything.
Yes, so that, yes. Great. That's all I had. Any project update questions from the team or Board of Ed?
Just, Mark, Christine, our new members, are for the building committee from the Board of Ed.
Fantastic.
Welcome. So
Great.
they're both, just recently elected again, Christine again, and Mark new, to the Board of Ed. So
Any questions at all, feel free to email anybody on the building committee and we'll help discuss anything, you know, there's an awful lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
So we can definitely help explain it, between, you know, there's 4 or 5 engineers on here. John's an expert in construction, so we've got a whole lot of people that can answer a question. If not, we'll just harass, ONG and.
Another question, was the approval by the state seemed like that one fast, is that?
It was very quick, which was good. I mean, I think we had everything that we needed to for that first phase kind of in order. It was fairly straightforward, not a ton of intricacy. It was a demo and abatement package, so one of the more straightforward packages there, but it's a positive sign that we were able to get that in less than a week, essentially at that point, so.
Good to hear.
Yep.
They had our responses the next day, so really the rest of the time they're tracking down people to sign the documents.
Nice work.
Yeah, good job.
All right, let's go to item B, approval of PCO phase 1 closeout.
Okay. So I have 3 PCOs. And these are to close out the phase 1 swing space project. First one is PCO 9. It's to replace portable 1 toilet and revise the heat trace material. It's an amount of minus $5,679. Dan's notes are provide materials and equipment to replace the toilet in portable 1 due to a leaking gasket and credit the difference in the material cost to utilize an alternate heat trace material for protection of the new piping servicing portables 5 and 6 from the existing service below portable 3. This credit and reduction of ONG insurance bond and fee will result in a reduction to the phase 1 GMP. Any questions on that one? Next one, PCO 010 in the amount of minus $7,737. It is to delete the ceiling hung gym divider curtain and furnish volleyball net system and tarp. I know we talked about this relatively at length last meeting. Does anyone need any further explanation from that? Okay. Lastly is PCO 011, return unused phase 1 CM contingency in the amount of minus $45,314. So with the elimination of all other scope or risks in the swing space work, the CM contingency that had been included in the phase 1 GMP is no longer needed. Per contract, those funds returned 100% to you for your use, and this is crediting them back.
Great.
Like three deducts. I like presenting PCOs. with all deducts. So I will give those to you, Kim, for someone's.
So do we need a motion to approve them?
Yep.
Can I have a motion to approve the 3 PCOs for phase 1 closeout as noted?
I will.
9, 10, and 11.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve PCOs phase 1 closeout. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
Who's signatory on these?
Eric, gym divider in place and in operation.
We will work the volleyball, so it makes sense.
Yeah, we got a volleyball, we're gonna work on that over grading.
Okay, great.
But we have the vent, we have the materials and everything. Great. Okay, approval of invoices.
Yep, so I have quite a few here, maybe 8, 10. Following invoices, a motion to approve for QA&M, invoice number 17624, $408,302.66, and that's 75% CD and additional services. Mobile Modular for the month of December, $3,554. DACO invoice 27520, $16,339.20 plus service, swing space. Eversource, portable 5-6 electricity, the invoice number 5189-758-0163, 611.93. CubeSmart, invoice 131120, $272 for December. CubeSmart, 1148503672, $272, and that's for November. Salas O'Brien, 6125-04423, $7,222.80, and that's 40% completion of design phase services. TPC Associates, 12065, $836.94, 2-circuit input module with strobe. I need Eric to explain that if you need more. O&G, invoice number 155,500, and that's 30% for pre-con billing.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the invoices as stated by Kim and as provided in the attached document?
I'll make the motion to approve the invoices as described by Kim.
Second. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the invoices described by Kim, provided in the invoices. Any discussion? I'll start. O&G, it's noted 30% pre-con billing. Brief discussion on what that entails.
Sure. Yeah, that is, there's no really formal schedule in our contract on pre-con billing. We have a pre-construction fee of $185,000. I actually went a little bit low. That's our phase one bidding, contract award. Estimating in phase one, estimating in phase two, schematic DD, now, for phase two CD, putting together the phase two bid packages and such. Thank you.
And so this pre-con kind of stretches through all phases?
It does. Yep, it's one, essentially, we established it as, I think it was one lump sum per proposal amount, and so it wasn't, sometimes it's set where we bill a set amount per every month. This one that was simply a lump sum, so we just tried to prorate it based on the level of effort to date.
Great. And obviously QA&M, just a brief discussion on yours. You're at 70% CD. And then additional services, just a brief explanation.
So the additional services you had approved at a couple of meetings ago, which included some structural work, the hazmat abatement.
Yep.
So, and some phase one work that had been done. So it was partially billed. I think it was also billed to like 70% based on the current, and then 70% for documents. Tomorrow will be 100%, but this goes back to last month's. Right.
Fantastic. Great. Any other discussions on the invoices? Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, any other discussion on the memorial renovation expansion before we go on to the next item?
Do you have the date for the start of the abatement and what you're putting in your contract? And demo?
I believe, what I have here, I believe we are currently targeting on, once we get through bidding and procurement, that it is approximately March 1st start.
So trucks will be out there right up there.
Well, this is for the demolition abatement.
Yeah.
Right, and then the last phase,
Yeah, I understand.
based on the current trajectory of where we're going, it looks as though mobilizing for the main project, May 1st. Yep, starting projecting. Yep. So with that, and I know there've been some discussions, so we're still actively working with the progression of the job and where it is today, so we know that we understand that the district's goals to still be complete, so we are working on that. Right now, our primary concern is just making sure we're staying on track with what we need to get through in these next months, with staying on budget, the approvals we need, make sure the design is ready to be bid, and then employ whatever strategies we need to hit that end goal. So we are still focused on that.
Great.
And how are you doing on logistics plans for the next two phases?
Good, they're in development by our team.
Okay.
I don't have them tonight, but we can circulate them.
Yeah, they're going, I mean, for the phase two, what we put in is we put in some allowance for fencing. Before the site work contractor gets out there, with the demo and the abatement, I don't think we're gonna need like a whole big production as far as logistics go, but we do have some fencing, in the bid. The phase three will be developed, but again, you have an unoccupied site. It's essentially going to be fenced, secured, and really that's really the logistics, you know, some areas for lay down and stockpile and things like that. But the beauty of it is it's an unoccupied building, which really is pretty easy.
Yeah, I just think anything we can, the timing is clear, but anything we can share with the public as far as
Okay.
how the operation is going to occur from what they'll see from the street. And any impact it may have on the neighborhood, just so there's an understanding of that, I think, before it starts.
Yeah, and
We'll all be better off.
yeah, and we will have logistics plans in the phase one or the phase two bid documents, and then phase three. And I think we talked about this even during our interview, was the idea of a good neighbor policy pamphlet flyer that has some key information about the project, that has the information of the OMG and will be on site to be the recipients of any maybe initial feedback, so that there's a level of checks and balances, so that everything isn't getting all the way back to you. If there are things, if it's, you know, there's a noise complaint or something, we can field those with the staff. So I'll say for the meeting in January, or even the one in, yeah, even February, between the January and February meetings, we could bring something forth for the committee to look at. As far as wanting to do some outreach on that, or put it on the memorial website, however you want to do that. Great.
With the approval from the state, you could order the switchgear and generators.
We can start the process of bidding.
What's the, those are 5 years out, right?
What's that?
48 months to 48 to 60 months.
For the gear?
Yeah.
We've been getting a little different information. It has been for a little while. It's been 48 to 54 weeks.
Weeks.
Yeah. But there are some suppliers now that are saying that they're more in the 28 week range.
Sorry, I heard months in there. It's like, okay, 4 years out.
Yeah, no, that would be a pretty big problem.
Yeah, anywhere between 28.
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay, so,
That's totally different.
I would rather, you know, I think it's still, if projects that we have started the process of an early phase, maybe when we started to get some of this updated information, you're gonna spend the money no matter what. I'd rather be coming to you saying, hey, it came, we're actually not ready for it, we're gonna store it somewhere, rather than saying, we've got a building that we can't power up. You can't use it, so it's still a prudent decision to, even though the lead times of this storage.
Yeah, plus understand that those lead times are from when you are released, that's not in contract, so you still gotta go through this middle process of coordination study, make sure it's working correctly.
That's only like a 1 week process,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The same day as the board.
1 year works, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great, so. All right, any other questions about the scope? Thank you, and I know we'll be having, some subcommittee discussions and looking at, you know, proposals and value engineering, continuing to look at value engineering and where things are. So I appreciate everybody's efforts on this. You know, it's a challenging project, and I appreciate what everybody's doing.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, for picking up the ball. Laura, I know that you had to jump in, and you did a great job while she was out. So
Thank you.
We appreciate all your efforts.
Yeah, I think the swing space went out fine and seems to be working really well. It's great.
Needed to be done anyway, so very, very happy with that. All right, moving on to item 6, stuff other than memorial. Schools, this is nice. Discussion of the goals of the Poggenchog, High School Field House. Field House was, put together, what, 2 years ago now? It was three, it was a shell. We were able to get bathrooms in there, but we had larger goals for the field house. Wanted to at least have a discussion, now that we have, the new, board members in place, about where we see the field house going. Primarily now it's bathrooms and storage. Are there any other goals with administration to look at what it should be? I don't believe the idea of, team locker rooms and showers and things are really necessary. Yeah, we have a student member that is a member of the track team that probably uses the field house possibly more than anybody. So just interested in where people see this going so that we can, budget it appropriately. And then obviously, there's normal maintenance and upkeep that has to be done, and I want to make sure that we have that funded as well.
Where are we with the trainers area? We haven't really done much there yet.
No, it's being used as storage. It's considered storage. From a building official standpoint, if we change anything in there, we'll just have to get, full proper permits and go, kind of start from scratch after the fact.
We have the ice machine is.
Ice machines in there. I know the track and, all the sports use it a lot. I think it's, doing a good job. Definitely there's room for improvement. We have some door upgrades coming this winter, just on the fob doors. Those are always problematic. It'd be great to see it built out. So what it could be a trainer's area, dedicated team room, but it's just the funding. So that's kind of where we're at with that. We did put some money in capital potentially. But, it's gonna take more than 10 grand to do that.
I know there are still some job boxes, on site as well. Are those being used?
Job boxes.
The Connex boxes. There's still a couple of Connex boxes, throughout the site, right? Or are they all gone?
Well, unless they're being used for storage.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't know if there were still Connex boxes that were being used by others, or if all storage is occurring inside the,
Well, I think the only one you had left was down in the lower field now. I think that's gone, right? Is that still there?
okay.
There's a green leaf box on there.
Yeah.
This is for soccer equipment.
Yeah.
But so the building is meeting our storage needs currently.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I think we should figure out exactly what we need and then maybe carve out, like I said, maybe one trainer's room and maybe a big team space.
Yeah.
But I'd love to get a feel from, the athletic department and the board as to, ultimately what should that space be? Obviously, one of the primary goals was get bathrooms in there. Which obviously led to the lights, which has been, I think a tremendous success all around. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to open it up and make sure that if we building it, it doesn't just go away. Now we do have, it's another structure we have to maintain, and I want to make sure that we don't lose it.
So I feel like we'll never establish funding for improvements unless we actually have a vision of what those improvements are gonna be. So yeah, I would recommend we get input from those that are gonna be using it. Probably mainly the coaches, and we sketch out a vision of what the interior of this building ultimately will look like so that we can start to set aside funding for it. So I don't think we're gonna build it out the way it was originally designed.
Yeah, and even the secondary design with a couple team rooms and internal bathrooms and coaches' rooms and concessions. Yeah, I don't even think that makes sense.
I think we should formally establish what our vision is for this and get buy-in from others and put it on paper.
Yep, and then, work on
Yeah.
funding so it can.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, from the building committee standpoint, we'll be glad to help the athletic director and or coaches with that vision, but they need to kind of drive it.
I think that's where it needs to come from. I mean, that's who it's built for. That input's important. And it is gonna take, quite a bit of funding to develop. Same as the bathrooms.
Charlie, from a student athlete perspective, I mean, what what could that be? I mean, are you guys using it for shelter if it's raining, and what are people doing there?
I know for like some of the workouts we've done, just when it's cold outside, we'll go in there when it's like in our rests to get out of the winds and try and stay warm. And then the majority of it would need to be storage still, because all of the like the pole vault mats or the hydrant mats need somewhere to go. And then same with all of the soccer equipment and everything else. So at least half of like the space that is in there, if it was organized very well, might be able to hold everything that's in it right now.
Okay.
And then like a singular like team room would be nice to have somewhere where like teams could put like their records or something similar to what's in the gym. Like a record board or like banners or something like that, even if they're smaller than the ones in the gym. It'd be nice to have another spot like that.
Awesome. Great. Well, maybe that's a good task for probably to start working with the athletic department and help vision out that.
I was just gonna say that, I think it's great, the idea of having a vision and learning more about it. I just want to put it out there that we're in the process of developing a budget, and it's an incredibly hard budget year. So if we're, the vision will be the way to go. So maybe we can like do things over time, have a plan where we can do things over time and see if we can get alternative funding. But right now, we're really working hard to, prioritize the core academics without losing too much.
Yes. Nope. Quickly.
So you can't just set aside 6 figures for us for the future.
Well, Kim has a money tree in the yard.
We don't need it for Great.
We understand.
Yeah, it really is. I think Kim can say, and she's told me it's one of the hardest budget years in her experience. I know I'm new, but we're making some very hard choices right now.
But yeah, that's it. Great.
I think one of the things that always was concern to me was the concession stand, and now we've made improvements in it and stuff like that, but doesn't have running water now, or
They have a portable sink, hand sink.
hand sink with a,
But it's not, I think you're probably hearing the same thing I'm probably hearing of like parents tend to, or kids working in there, it's hard to like rinse things and get them clean. So like, I think that would probably be like, I would imagine one of the big first.
part of my vision would be to move the concession stand inside.
I think it makes sense.
Just from a health department point of view, I mean, at some point, we do have to acknowledge that it's not quite where it needs to be when it comes to selling food in a safe manner.
We did set the windows. We set the windows in that corner, kind of at a counter height. They're higher than a normal window, for the idea of possibly being able to use that as counter space. So
Yeah, and that right corner towards the existing booth that's there has plumbing that was set up as part of the prior layout that I think would work for concessions, work well.
Yeah, that would be much more expensive.
Yes.
Once you go,
Ansel system.
once you go that, you go through a whole another level of code and health requirements. Most high schools have clubs out there, which you see there today because of that reason. Otherwise, it'd be enormously expensive. You're basically all the stuff you do in your cafeteria, you'd have to do out there. So that's a whole nother level.
good, and the lack of an oil water separator probably negates it. But could any washing from the concession stand occur with the existing plumbing of the
Well, certainly,
field house?
again, you have to be careful on how you define what you're doing and who's operating it.
Okay.
Okay.
Or what they could serve.
Or what they could serve, so that does trigger a whole nother,
Okay.
that I think you ought to get the vision first, and then we'll,
I'm not saying that.
Have a vision with and without.
cause that would be enormous.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of concession stands that sort of avoid the Ansel system and the hoods. There's the modern technology of induction cookers. And the theory is they don't generate flame and bad things, but you can still actually heat things up within reason. Obviously, it's not gonna be cooking for 4,000 people, but that is pretty common these days. People are able to do a lot of things for not a lot of money. And, you know, they're being creative with their budget. And they can actually do a lot of good things.
Awesome.
So look into the induction cooking that in the future.
Yeah, so over the next couple meetings, maybe once a month, we'll keep this on the agenda and just try and keep this moving so that we can develop a nice vision on this. Any other discussions on the field house? All right, open it up, back up to public comment. Audience, okay, and online, any public comment online?
We have Laurel, we have one other person online. If you have any public comment, just raise your hand, please.
Okay, so no public comment with that. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion
Was that
passed.
John or
Thank
John?
you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
You gotta say all in favor.
Oh, everybody, yeah. Sorry.